In the spring of 2021, Jinkx Monsoon and Nick Sahoyah recorded a Futurama recap podcast. For reasons unknown, it was never released. These are the raw tapes.
I'm 40% podcast. I'm 40% podcast. You know I'm 40% podcast, baby. You know I'm 40% podcast. You know I'm 40% podcast, baby. I'm only 40%. Go. 40% podcast. I'm 40% podcast.
Hello, everybody. It's me, Jinkx Monsoon, and welcome.
Hello, everybody.
What? What was wrong with that?
It's just you haven't tried anything new all season, and that's the first new thing you tried.
I don't think I've said
I'm sorry,
hello,
just go.
everybody, every episode.
No, I'm
That
saying
doesn't
you
sound
haven't.
like me.
Just go ahead. Just go ahead.
Wow. Hi, y'all. Oh, God. See, now I hate the sound of my own voice because you did that. Hi, y'all. This is Jinkx Monsoon.
Join the club.
Wow.
Jinkx, this
Every
is so
time.
mean.
It's okay. It's okay.
Is it?
I'll pull it together.
Okay.
Hello, everybody. I'm Jinkx Monsoon. And as always, I've got Nick Sahoyah in my ear. And this is episode 9 of I'm 40% Podcast, the Futurama review podcast. And I'm very, very excited because for our final episode of season 1, we've got one of my favorite people in the whole wide world. It's Nicole Byer. Hello, Nicole.
It's me. Hi.
No, Nicole, I needn't list your many, many accolades, but I will. I feel like in the last, 3 years, I've just been living in the Nicole show. You're everywhere.
Oh, thank
And congratulations,
you.
because I'm so happy every time I see you in each new place.
Thank you so much.
We met so randomly. I had done this gig in Hawaii for a week, and we thought we were going to be partying in Hawaii, but we were just having one of those depressive spells. And so we stayed in and binge watched your show, which was on Hulu. And oh my God, now that I'm bringing it up, I forget the title of the show. So just tell me.
It's okay. It's called Loosely Exactly Nicole. It's maybe the worst
No, it's a
title of a television
wonderful
show.
title.
It's very long.
I knew I was
so
going to get the
long.
words out of order, like precisely.
Exactly.
Precisely
It's
a
like
lot,
7
Nicole.
syllables.
Yeah, it's a lot. It was not my idea.
It was an amazing show. And then
Thank
right after
you.
binge watching it, I was making the rounds at DragCon and we just bumped into each other.
Mhm. And it was truly delightful because I adore you. And you turned around and I was like, it's Jinkx Monsoon. And you were like, it's Nicole Byer. And I was like, you know me. And it was delightful. You were dressed as a Harry Potter
Rita
person.
Skeeter. Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah.
Mm.
I can never remember anybody from Harry Potter, even though I've
You
read
can
and
just-
seen the movies.
Well, it's good. Yeah, you don't have to learn it now because of the
Yes.
lady.
You don't have to
yeah.
now. Don't
Yeah,
worry.
she's bad.
And then it feels like just like right after that, then, you're voice acting everywhere, which is amazing because we're going to talk about a cartoon all day. So obviously I give a shit about voice acting, but then, I think one of my favorite roles recently was seeing you on The Good Place.
I was going to say it's so
Thank
good.
It was such a
Oh.
great show and your role was so amazing. So it's really just quite the honor to have you on our humble little
Jinkx.
podcast.
Jinkx, thank you.
And House of Monsoon is on with the very long hashtag of make Nicole Byer a permanent judge. I think it's a very long hashtag going around. We love it.
I mean,
Yeah.
theoretically, what a dream. But in actuality, the fandom is very mean.
That's true.
Right now, I'm in
Get
good
in and get
favor.
out.
God forbid I say something they don't like. So I would like to dip in and dip out. They're not nice.
It's
strategy.
It's really intense. And, it can get me down sometimes, the Drag Race tumultuous fan base, love affair. But I think it's a great lesson in social media when you can learn how to just fully like disconnect, like you leave your body and be like, no more social media for the day. But what's crazy is I think the Drag Race fan base is so unique in this regard of having such strong opinions. And then lo and behold, like the Rick and Morty fan base, those people are nuts. I also at DragCon, I met one of the writers randomly one day and I was like, love your show. And she said something like, yeah, it's a great show. I wish the fans didn't want to kill me. So I don't think the pandemic helps it.
No, because now everyone gets to just sit inside and fester with their feelings and then really think about things. It's this pandemic, I gotta say, it's not good for anybody.
You heard it here first, folks. Nicole denounces the pandemic. She is not complicit with the pandemic.
I don't like it.
You're alienating a lot of our audience, but you know what? I'm glad you're taking a stand.
Thank you.
A lot of viruses subscribe to Jinkx Monsoon's Patreon.
Nicole, what has been your favorite? Well, okay, that's probably one of those questions you get asked. I could probably go read 8 interviews where you say like what your favorite role is, but what has been your favorite role recently?
Let's see. I think maybe it might be The Good Place. That was so much fun. I got to play somebody who was like super naive, super wide-eyed, and super just takes things at face value. And that's not me. I'm very much like, no, we'll get to the bottom of this. But it was just nice to have like just like a blank slate smile and be like, I believe you. Wow. So yeah, Good Place is super, super fun. And then Brooklyn Nine-Nine, I get to go back every year. I've done the last 2 years. I play Craig Robinson's little sister, and we're little thieves. And Craig is so funny. Like, we hadn't met before we started shooting, and he just like walked up to me and was like, Nicole Byer, and then sang a full song. And then we were best friends. Like, he's the nicest person ever. And then Andy's so cool. Andy just like let us improvise at times. And then like if a scene was clunky, he'd be like, well, let's just like work this out. So we'd like speak it until we were like,
was he holding a joint when he said that?
Yeah, he was so stoned. He was like, guys, let's just like get it together. Brooklyn and Night.
I don't know how I'd concentrate on either of those sets because I've had a long-standing, unrequited romance with Andy Samberg and a less long but still as impactful experience with Manny Jacinto. So,
oh boy,
I'm one of those people where as soon as I tell myself, now don't act weird just because you have a crush on this person, then I like walk into the room and I'm like, gurgly durgly, everybody.
That's how I am too. But since you have to go through like hair and makeup, you have time to get out the weirdness. So you just like say weird things to the makeup person and they're like, oh, okay. Sure. And then when you get to set, you're like, okay, all that's gone. So now I can just like do my job, hit my mark, remember my lines.
That's probably, that explains it all because I'm my own hair and makkup person. And all I do is just...
I'll tell you a secret.
Spiral.
Sometimes I am too. You arrive fully done and then you let someone just dab you and then they go, wow, you look fabulous. And you're like, okay.
It's natural. It's
okay.
just natural. Now, Nicole, are you a fan of the show Futurama? Have you watched it much before?
I had never seen an episode prior to last night / today.
Yay! We love it when they've never seen an episode.
Wait, did you watch the episode did it spill over across like a dateline?
So I started
because you watched it yesterday and today.
Well, I started it last night and I ended up getting a little too stoned and falling asleep. So then I picked it up where I thought I left off and I was like, wait, what happened? So then I had to rewatch it again at like 9 a.m. while I ate ice cream. And so, yeah, it was a 2-day event. So 2 nights ago, I ordered Cold Stone Creamery and I got I think it's called Peanut Butter Cup Perfection. It comes with sweet cream ice cream, Reese's peanut butter cups. I got extra peanut butter and fudge. And then they mash it all up and then it comes to you. It's so good.
When you order Cold Stone delivery, do they still sing a little song for you? You just have
do a
to
little
trust they did
number
it.
at the door.
You just have to trust that they did it. It is kind of sad that the Postmate doesn't absolve the responsibility to sing the song to you.
He should at least give you a transcription of the song.
Or like
doesn't
a
have to sing it.
recording. I would
Yeah.
like that.
They could text you a video of the staff.
That
doing
would be
them.
nice.
And they could put a lot more production value into it than we're used to. You know, just
They
one
do
really well-produced
backgrounds
video.
It's like digital drag, you know, each Cold Stone will have like 3 numbers that they send out depending on the theme of the night.
I mean, I would fucking love that. That would be a real treat.
I have to say one of my favorite things about about the pandemic as an antisocial hermit type person.
You're
I
thriving.
love that now there is no expectation to even meet the food delivery person at the door.
I gotta say,
they just
I
drop
agree.
it off at your
Yes.
doorstep and sneak away, and then you get a little bing on your phone and you've got food all of a sudden. But I do like, you know, I have been generously tipping during the pandemic, partially because, you know, obviously that's what we're
Because
doing
you're a
right
wealthy
now.
woman.
because of trickle down economics, you know. But also because I just feel like I asked this person to, like, you know, be on the DL. It's like an anonymous hookup. It's like a glory hole situation. I don't want them to feel taken for granted in that experience.
I think that's very kind of you. But also, like, pre-pandemic, we were expected to meet our Postmates and exchange food like a drug deal. Like, why weren't we leaving it all the time? Isn't that wild that, like,
Raccoons,
I
I'm
had
sure.
to leave my home, go downstairs and be like, yes, that's my food. Thank you for my food. Goodbye. Just leave it.
Yeah, it would, and it's perfect for stoners because if you fall asleep, you wake up to the food rather than wake up to 20 missed phone calls
Yes.
from an angry pizza person.
Mhm,
So Futurama is one of mine and Nick's favorite shows. It's by no means a perfect show, like everything from the late 90s or early 2000s. But you came on a very good episode, the introduction of the robot devil and the concept of robot hell, which will play parts in the show in big and small ways throughout the series. Do you get, from just watching this one episode, do you get the general gist?
Yes. So it's like the future with like robots and one-eyed ladies, and they drive ships, and there's people. Everyone seems like pretty okay, but like still the problems of now exist in the future.
Yes.
Wow, that's a good thesis.
And Fry, the main character, is from our time, and we're kind of experiencing the future through his eyes. So
Yeah, did you
that's
get
why.
that?
Okay.
Having not seen the pilot.
No, I didn't. I just thought humans existed with everybody. But I guess he is he the only human?
No,
Not the
Hermes and
only
Amy are
human.
humans.
Okay. Wait, how did he get to the future?
He was frozen alive in a cryogenic stasis chamber by
By
accident.
choice? Oh, by accident.
No, by
Okay.
accident.
He fell in there, or was he pushed? Or was he pushed?
It's an ongoing saga with the show, but
Is it still on?
No,
it is not
it's
still
over.
on, but it did have 2 reboots. Well, I guess 3 because
Oh.
they also made a bunch of movies.
Well, the movies
Oh.
were like the first reboot, yeah.
Yeah. And
And then it came back on Comedy Central for a while.
Oh.
This was
How many
well before
seasons?
the era of the reboots. I think 7 in total, right?
These are
No,
all
well-
questions I can Google. And I'm just
No.
like, hello, let's hop on a Zoom. I would like to know this.
Nicole, I'm glad you asked that because this is the season finale of this podcast because on Hulu, it says this is the end of season 1. But in my DVD box set, it says this is the middle of season 1.
Whoa, that's so wild.
I don't
so
know why
like
they did
what is canon? What is true?
I don't know.
It's
It's
all
a
the same
mystery.
episodes. They're just cataloged differently across platforms. And also, like, I don't know why Nick keeps bringing up DVDs as if anyone knows what those are.
DVDs. What does DVD stands for? Digital?
Video.
Disc?
Digital.
Disc.
Oh.
I think.
So with it being, it's funny how I don't want to age you, Nicole, but around how old you are. Around how old are you?
I believe I'm 36 or I'm 35 or 37. I don't care to remember. I was born in 1986, if you want to do the math.
So you're a year older than me.
Yeah, you're younger than you say you are.
30.
Whatever.
Most people don't do that.
Wonderful.
Maybe I'm 62, 47. I don't care.
I actually, one of my housemates last night, it's his birthday tomorrow, and he could not remember what age he was turning. And he had to figure it out based on my age because he's also my assistant and tour manager. So I think maybe sometimes it's easier for him to remember things in relation to me, which was eye-opening and horrible for both of us. So Fry is from, he was frozen alive in the year 2000. So it's very much like, I think just that kind of like middle generation between us, the three of us, and the generation before us. So there's a lot of references that I only get now because I've like grown up and like learned these references over time. But when I first first watched this show as a teenager, so much stuff went over my head. Like the Beastie Boys, I knew vaguely who they were.
Yeah, let's start at the beginning. We don't get a cold open this episode. We just go right to the Beastie Boys concert at Madison Cube Garden. Nicole, how do you feel about the Beastie Boys?
I'm not like a huge Beastie Boys fan, but I know who the Beastie Boys are. So it honestly did take me a hot second to realize it was the Beastie Boys. And then I was like, oh, okay, these are the Beastie Boys. And yes, okay. And they're, I guess, dead, but not dead because their heads are in jars. But yeah, I like got it.
Yeah, there's a lot of celebrities that they keep alive in just their head in a jar.
Yeah, that
Maybe
was a very elegant solution for how to have celebrity guests when the show was set 1,000 years from now. They're just all heads or ghosts or some kind of phantasmagoria.
I think you and Jinkx are both famous enough that you'll be heads in jars.
Oh, I would never.
I've gotten there yet.
No, when I pass, please just let me go. I'm already
Seems like some
tired.
of them are heads in jars against their will, though, Nicole. And I hate to tell you might just be made into a head in a jar.
Oh,
because a lot of them live in a museum.
No.
The whole, like all the presidents of the United States just live in a head museum where you can just go meet them. So it is somewhat of
Thank you. I don't want to go to that kind of head museum.
The history of head.
I heard the head museum in San Francisco just closed this weekend. Very sad. The pandemic is really hitting us hard.
You're an idiot.
Bender is a beer keg. That's fun. He's serving them drinks.
Yes. And Bender's that robot man, right?
Bender's the robot. Leela is the Cyclops. She's also the captain of their interstellar delivery service. I just love that like Leela and Bender are kind of dissecting the Beastie Boys and like running math algorithms to decipher how cool they are.
I mean, I guess when you get to the future, that's what you do. It's kind of like what you do on social media. It's like, how many followers do you have? How many likes do you average? And then companies go, I guess I'll pay you to promote. It's kind of like now.
I related to Fry because one time I went to see Britney Spears in Vegas and all the old people who bought tickets were just like sitting down, but I wanted to get up and dance because it was Britney Spears.
Did you get up and dance?
I did. And in fact, the announcer, I feel like it had become a problem that the old people weren't dancing to Britney Spears because the announcer at the beginning, he goes, Britney encourages you to get up off your feet and dance till the world ends.
I think it's a Vegas thing because everybody's old. I went and saw Lady Gaga and we were dancing to Gaga and the people behind us were like, can you sit down? And I turned around and I was like, no, it's a concert. And then another lady came up to me and said, if I give you popcorn, will you sit down? And I was like,
Oh my God.
You need to offer me chocolate cake or something substantial for me to sit down, you rude bitch. And then people were just mad at us the whole time. But I was like, it's Gaga. And at one point she was like, get the fuck up. And I was like, we have to, she's telling us.
She's telling us too. That is such what a macro aggression right there.
Yeah.
I've only been to sit down concerts, I feel, or concerts where it was like,
what's a sit down concert?
Well, Regina Spektor was a sit down concert.
That she was in.
We sat down when we went to see Amanda Palmer. I've been to
We did not. We were standing for that.
We were up in the very tall backest part of the balcony sitting.
It was the showbox.
Show.
There's no balcony.
That was the other Amanda Palmer concert, the one at the Neptune's, the one I'm talking about.
Oh, yeah.
And that is two of the 3 concerts I've been to. I've just listed all concerts
Amanda Palmer?
Oh, that's a whole separate podcast. But no, she's fantastic. She was she was originally in a 2-man band called the Dresden Dolls, and then she went solo. She married Neil Gaiman, and now she's kind of like more than a musician. She's like she's
a weird
kind of a cult leader.
Yeah.
She's a weird hippie lady, cult lady.
I'm looking at pictures of her. And yes.
Jinkx and I met at one of her concerts because Jinkx was pretending to be a little wind-up doll and doing dance numbers for Amanda Palmer.
It was my after-school job.
Wait, this makes little sense to me. So you were at a concert. You were pretending to be a wind-up doll for the person putting on the concert during the concert?
Yes.
No, we performed.
There was like little skits.
We performed for the line. We performed for the line before the show, like when the line was lined up around the block. But we were also invited by the band to be part of the the little vignettes they do during the show. It was this whole thing. And when I say cult leader, she's like one of the cool cult leaders, like Jesus Christ is a cult leader. Yeah.
Okay.
Like she's just helped ushered a lot of people into a new way of thought in that sense.
Okay.
She's a cult leader, but anyway.
I'm down. I'm down for an inclusive, nice cult. One where they don't make you brand yourself or do something. You're like, oh, I don't want to. I'm here for
we
cults,
get into that later.
A choose your own adventure cult.
It's just the cults that encourage you to be a better person in the world,
Yeah, I love that.
They're not asking for much.
Well, the Planet Express crew is not at a sit-down concert because there's a mosh pit.
They're at a stand-up concert.
Have you ever been to a mosh pit, Mom? I guess you haven't. What about you, Nicole?
I have been to a mosh pit. I can't remember. It might have been My Chemical Romance. This was a very long time ago. But it was in New York. I want to say it's a place that's closed. I cannot remember the venue. It was an iconic venue.
CBGB's?
No, different one with a marquee, whatever. But there I was at a mosh pit. It was a bunch of white people in a circle hitting each other. And I was like, wait, what the fuck is happening? But then I just got in there and I was like, so we punch people? And my friend was like, kind of. So I was just in the middle of this circle punching people. It was fun.
So you were a lot like Leela in this episode.
Yeah, I love that Leela takes the mosh pit too seriously.
Yes, that was definitely me.
One of my favorite lines.
No, you take it, Mom. I'm sorry.
I'll segue. Thank you. One of my favorite lines in the episode is when Fender, an old friend of Bender, takes the crew back to meet the Beastie Boys. And he just says, hey, these are my friends. And the Beastie Boys say, we're not really that interested in meeting them.
Yeah.
I immediately thought of Bob the Drag Queen.
I feel like both on The Simpsons and Futurama, a lot of the writers left The Simpsons to work on Futurama. There's a lot of crossover there. So the writing styles are very similar, and it happens a few times throughout this episode where I feel like I can hear the opinions of the writers in the episode. And then when you compare it to things you learn from The Simpsons, you're like, these people have very strong opinions on fans and how fans act and what being a celebrity means. And then also, they have very strong opinions on sobriety, but we haven't gotten there yet.
What are their opinions on sobriety?
They hate
just
it.
with this episode, especially.
They hate people who stop drinking.
Yeah, I guess so. Well, yeah.
But I love it because I'm like, over a year and a half sober, and I love making fun of it. I also love threatening relapses to get better.
Jinkx! Honestly, very funny. Really. No, that's very funny.
It's become my favorite joke, with tech people, when I still use like a prop vodka bottle on stage. And I'm like, and we're going to make sure this is filled with, they'll say like, here, you can have this vodka bottle from the from the bar. And I'm like, can we replace it with water? And they're like, sure. We'll replace it with water. Thinking the drag queen really is like, keep the vodka in there. Yes. I'm going to have a fun show. And then, so I'm always at sound check, like, better be water, or otherwise we all get to watch me relapse tonight on stage. That'll be fun for everyone. Anyway,
that is funny that people would ever think someone's kidding when they say, can you replace this with water? Because I've had to drink in scenes and I go, can I have real booze? And everyone laughs and I go, no. Can I have real if this is the last scene of the day, we'll get this in 3 takes. Let me get some booze.
That was definitely me on set in the before times. I always thought it was like, well, it will get me more in touch with my character if I'm a little bit buzzed.
We used to do a web show together where our characters were drinking all day, and we just found it was easier to,
actually,
you're opening a beer. It's just gonna sit there otherwise.
We didn't have the money for prop beers back then. It had to be real PBR.
PBR.
So pretty quickly, Fender sneaks Bender off with his other roadie robot friends to join in a circle jack, I guess you could call it. So, with everything in the future, everything's allegory. So like, they're not going to do an episode about drug addiction unless it's robots addicted to electricity. So I think it's a fun, playful way to talk about addiction.
Bender walks into the room and he says, what kind of party is this? There's no booze and only one hooker.
I mean, it's a good question,
And they call it jacking on, which is weird.
Well, I think it's just for
the one joke.
They're just fucking with the censors. There's a couple jokes, are you guys jacking on? Bender very quickly starts doing the drugs, but I love that his last words are, well, if doing these drugs will make strangers think I'm cool, okay. I love that it's just like a play at the after school specials I think we were all raised with. It's the exact things we were warned about.
But
so he immediately... Oh, I'm sorry. Go ahead.
No, you can keep going.
No, I want to hear what you think, Nicole.
Just that after school specials are bad because drugs do make you cool and fun for a little bit. And...
It's an uncomfortable truth.
Yes, and I feel like they should show you the aftermath of drugs. Like to be like, it will be fun, but you will sell your mother's wedding ring to get more of this. Do you know what I mean? Because it's so much fun.
Yeah.
Do you want to give up your whole life for all this fun that's not fun at the end? I don't know. I think they teach drug stuff wrong.
Well, I think there's also, like there's just some people complete abstinence is a bad route for, know.
Yeah.
Because I didn't like drink until I was 22. I didn't like smoke weed for the first time until my 20s. Like
Then
everyone in
she,
high school was already
she really made up for lost time, if you know what I mean.
people were experimenting with it around me in high school at an age where it's like learn your limits when it's young and like you can like just write it off as like I was young and stupid. I learned my limits when I should have known better.
I think you're being too hard on yourself.
Well, I think everyone goes through it at some point,
Yes. Everyone but my sister. My sister I feel like she's had 3 drinks in her whole life. One was like a lobsterita from Red Lobster, which sounds like there's lobster in a margarita, but it's just a red margarita. She drank it and she was like, I'm out of control. And me and my dad were like, you're not. And she was like, I don't know where I am. We're like, you definitely know where you are. So she doesn't drink at all. It's very funny that one drink was like, nope, I don't do this.
How nice to have your tolerance that low though. You would save so much on alcohol.
So much.
If you could just drink a thimble.
Smells a drink and she's like, I can't walk.
I think there's nothing more aggravating than people who are just like, oh yeah, I tried drinking once. Whatever. You mean you've never ended
never blacked out and peed on a friend's floor? Well,
you never ended up puking over a fence into a construction site on your birthday. Like, come on. How do you even know what reality is? Yeah, like Michelle Visage, I have nothing but her word to go off of this, but I truly believe her. She said she drank for a day and then has never drank since. And she just
I believe that.
Like, meh. That's people offer her a drink. She says meh. And we move on. She had promised me once that on some significant birthday, she'd drink champagne and pineapple juice with me. But then I don't think it happened. I wonder what got in the way of that. Has there been anything going on the last year that would have prevented me and Michelle from having celebratory
anything in the last year? Well, I feel like DragCon was canceled, so maybe it was that.
Yeah. Probably would have happened there.
Yeah. Yeah, I think that's the only thing I can think of.
I really relate to Bender in this episode when he says, I don't have an addictive personality, and then chugs a fifth and then starts smoking a cigar. and then
immediately does the electricity again.
It reminds me so much of times when I would say to friends, I'm not really drinking anymore with a drink in my hand. And then they go, but you have a drink. And, oh, well, this is just one drink I'm drinking now. But in general, I don't drink anymore.
They immediately are forced to go to a dicey neighborhood to find electricity for Bender. I don't get why. It seems like you get electricity
because
anyway.
That's the trope that you have to follow. You got to go to the impoverished bad neighborhood to get your little druggy poos.
It's true.
The drug.
And Fry is kind of a good friend, but kind of an enabler. Let's say it. And is helping Bender
fully
get his
an
fix.
enabler. He just waits there.
Enabling when he's just too dumb to know.
Yeah, hard to say.
I feel like Fry's in a gray area here because he really just truly is too stupid to realize that Bender has a drug problem. But we quickly find out because Hermes the bureaucrat brings up the electricity drain at the office. And then it sets up for, Bender needing a fix.
I guess, so he can get the electricity from work, and that's a problem because he's getting noticed. is he going to someone's house and giving them money to plug into their wall? Like, I just don't get what it is.
Nick, you're spending too long examining the like logistics of
Yeah,
these
it's a
drug dens.
cartoon.
It's probably like a little drug den that was built next to a big factory that produces a lot of electricity, and they're like,
Okay, that's all I'm
siphoning it
asking.
off.
That's all I'm asking.
I feel like you could have figured that out on your own.
I feel like we needed the podcast.
Aren't you
to
a
get there.
writer? Shouldn't you be able to infer and suspend your disbelief?
I try, you tell yourself you're going to finish the screenplay, and it's been like a year, and it's like, does anyone want to read this thing? Probably not.
They do. They will finish. I don't know. I've been trying to write something for over a year. It's
well,
hard.
I'll do it to you too, Nicole. Finish it. Yay. You could do it.
I shouldn't have said that to you. It felt bad.
No, we should just lie to each other. Let's lie to each other, and then maybe one of us will finish.
You should trade scripts and finish each other's scripts. It's
like an exquisite corpse.
Yeah, I was just going to say that. Yeah. And
I was thinking more like Horrible Bosses, but
is that how Horrible Bosses was written?
Because they have to kill each other's bosses.
So they can't be pinned for the murders.
I see.
What a
I've
weird
never
movie.
seen it. Is it a good movie?
The first one's pretty funny.
The first one has really
There's
funny
two?
moments. And
Yeah,
you get to
the second one I heard was bad.
It's called like Horribler Bosses.
Mm-hmm.
Even worse bosses than before.
It's like Aliens. It's just called Horrible Bosses.
I feel like the whole calling it jacking on was all setting up just so that Leela could say, Bender, you're spending an awful lot of time in the bathroom. Are you jacking on in there? And I feel like there's so many things that they just did to try to fuck with the censors, like you can't really stop us from saying this because of the context, you see. Nowadays on Hulu, I saw penises on Hulu this week.
On what?
On The Watchmen. Amazing series. Absolutely loved it. Full of penises.
That is the biggest penis I've ever seen.
Oh,
on television,
really?
surely. Yes.
Well, okay, so it's flaccid.
On television, surely.
It's
and
flaccid,
it's painted blue.
It's blue. And you don't see the tip of it because it's so long that like the top of it is like on the other side of a table.
Whoa.
And it's it's a very serious, very dramatic show. I love that we're talking about another show on this podcast, but it's that good. It's very, very good. But the whole time you're seeing penises, you're like, it's a dramatic scene. I don't want to yell out like, there's a penis on screen when we're all paying attention to the show. But then there was a moment where there was a slow pan down. And it was like to get to an object that we needed to see, but it went fully down the penis. Like the penis was pointing at the object in the end.
This is the first time I'm hearing about this, and I feel like my friends have failed me. I love
really good
penis.
dicks on that show. Yeah.
I love a penis in a narrative with good acting.
It's really good acting. It's a really great story. It's, you have
the penises never break character.
That's the best. I love that. I love a penis that can, just hold on to the character and, keep me in the fantasy.
We never get to see penises on Futurama, but we get to see lots of butts. There's lots of animated butts is a special thing.
Oh, okay.
So eventually, they take Bender to rehab. No, they don't end up taking Bender to rehab.
You missed the priest.
Well, the priest sees Bender
if Nick
laying
was
in
doing
the
his job and keeping us on topic.
Whoa! Wow!
I was told that I was too aggressive and I was trying to be accommodating.
Can't you find some middle ground?
Like I can't do it. No, obviously not. I'm a fucking light switch.
Oh.
Sorry, Mom.
That got violent.
Just slipped out.
Sorry, Mom.
I'm so sorry.
What's the next thing we have to talk about, Nick?
Bender steers the ship into an electrical storm so he can soak up the electricity, which I still think he probably could have done on Earth. But I accept that he is not thinking straight.
But when you need it now, I watch a lot of interventions. So when you're going through withdrawals, it is like a very intense feeling and you feel like you might die. So like maybe he was like, I might die if I don't do this right now.
What if that turtleneck guy showed up and intervenes on Bender this episode? That's the only thing missing, really.
Wait, which turtleneck man?
Doesn't he wear a turtleneck? The intervention guy?
I haven't watched much intervention.
There's a ton of interventionalists.
I think I'm thinking of the blind date guy or the cheaters guy. Didn't the cheaters guy always wear a turtleneck?
Oh, maybe.
Doing like a Steve Jobs number.
Yeah, does he have like brown hair and like kind of bangies? Like bangies?
Yeah.
Yeah.
And he got stabbed that one time.
That I don't know about.
Yeah. He got stabbed because like they found out the guy was cheating and the guy was mad that he was on TV getting caught cheating. So he stabbed the host on like a boat or something.
What a funny thing to do. Like not in actuality, but like theoretically, what a funny thing to do. I'm on television. I should stab him.
That'll de-escalate things.
Yeah, surely nothing bad will happen to me if I stab this man.
I feel, oh my gosh. Yeah. I'm just thinking how ridiculous reality TV is and how naturalized it is in our world now.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
I think it's funny that host went back and shot another episode after that.
When you got a contract and they say, we're going to stop your checks if you don't show up to set.
What are we going to do to make sure I don't get stabbed, though?
You have to look up this video because he's literally just like still hosting the show as the EMTs are like servicing his back.
That's comedy. That's committing to the bit.
It's really funny. Okay.
So the Planet Express crew more or less intervenes on Bender and he thinks he's a lost cause. So he goes walking off, on his existential journey. He finds himself at the robot church and he's trying to siphon electricity from the church.
Well, it's funny because he goes, maybe there's a better way. And you think he's going to go in and find religion, but he just steals their electricity.
Yeah. And this leads to him falling through the ceiling and landing right in front of the robot preacher and joining the robotology church. When he goes back to the crew to say that he's found religion, I love Fry's line, is this another scam to get free yarmulkes? So it's something Bender's done before.
Well, he has, because he had the fake he had the fake religion. Well, not for the yarmulkes, but remember he had the fake religion. Yeah, Robonica. And Robanza.
Oh, Robanza. That's inclusive. That's nice.
He kept making up fake robot holidays to get time off work.
Well, I feel like Kwanzaa is left out of things a lot, and I like that was included.
Futurama always includes Kwanzaa.
They have
for better or for worse. Kwanzaa bot makes many appearances.
Do you want to know who he's voiced by?
Who?
Coolio.
Okay. I like it. I'm here for that.
He does some raps. They're pretty good.
There's a Santa Claus robot. There's Kwanzaa bot, and there's the
Hanukkah zombie.
The Hanukkah zombie.
Oh no!
A reanimated Jewish corpse.
Oh no! Is it done well? Is it funny?
It's pretty funny.
He doesn't do anything zombie-esque. He's just a zombie, but I
don't think she's concerned about that. I think she's like, is it anti-Semitic?
Yes. That's fully what I was asking.
What's so I love
and Jinkx is like, no, it's not offensive to zombies.
I'd have to watch it again to know if it's anti-Semitic, but I just love that this was one of the episodes that like doesn't have white people voicing people of color, but we still find ourselves here. That's just TV shows from the early 2000s. I feel like and this is something we always like hear about, like when you find one problematic thing in one episode of a TV show, do you cancel the whole show, or do you watch it with a caveat? Do you still find yourself nostalgically watching shows that are just
yes,
logistically bad?
Yeah. I mean, I forgive them because I'm like, it's the time period. It's, things were smaller. It wasn't such a wide net of entertainment. There wasn't as many voices in it. So like, I just like forgive them because I'm like, okay, y'all made a mistake, but like, I still like it.
Yeah. And I mean, it's like, you can't watch anything from the black and white film era without just like accepting that
absolutely.
anti-feminist ideas are going to be abound.
And if there's a brown person, he will be played by a white man covered in something.
Which is so wild that they were like, we couldn't possibly hire a brown person. Ew, PU. Let's paint you up.
Very that.
Because that would be less jarring to a white audience to see. So Bender very quickly, like everything with Bender, when he gets into something, he gets into it very quickly, full tilt right away.
Yeah.
So he immediately starts lunging his religion on the rest of his crewmates, takes them out to a celebratory dinner after his robot christening.
Which is creepy, and he does get branded, which we were talking about.
And
they do establish, okay, so I have a question, and we're jumping a little ahead, but Robot Hell, it doesn't seem like every robot goes there. It's only the robots that get into this religion. And we find out that it's not a mainstream religion because the professor says, if only he joined a mainstream religion like Oprahism or Voodoo. So are there only chapters of this church in the New York area? Because Hell is in New Jersey and they have to like commute there? There's
so many things I think we just have to suspend our disbelief with the robots on this cartoon, because I've thought about this. I've given it the thought. It all plagued my mind at one point as well. But I think what we're dealing with is the tricky aspect of taking a metaphysical concept and making it real through robots. So like the robots, they got to go somewhere when they go to hell.
And I guess it makes sense because robots are kind of immortal, so their hell would have to be like a physical place.
Exactly. I like that their hell is New Jersey. I'm from New Jersey, so I can attest it is hell.
And we don't see outside of New York very often, so we don't know if there's other robot, like there's district robot devils and like different.
He's just the
regional hells. Yeah.
I like this. This tracks.
I love when Bender's saying his prayer before dinner. It goes on and on and on, and he's saying it in binary. And I love this recurring joke that they do with the binary code and Bender, where he ends the prayer with 0, 0, 1, 0, 0, 1, 2. It's just the stupidest nerd joke, but it gets me every time. Does that joke make any?
It made zero sense to me. I just thought it was a bunch of numbers, and I was like, oh, okay, because he's a robot. Okay.
I like that there's enough nerdy humor in it.
All computers talk in zeros and ones.
Oh, now he's going to explain it.
Wait.
So, like, a computer
can only... my computer talks?
Okay. So, like, the motherboard is, like, talking to, like, this thing. And,
what?
Yeah. A switch is either on or off. And if it's off, it's a 0, and if it's on, it's a 1. And all computer language is based on just that switch going on and off.
But what do you mean my computer's talking?
I don't know.
So like right now, I'm on my computer, and for the things to be happening, it's talking to other parts of the... I don't...
Okay, so like, Nicole, you know how in your head you're like...
It's more like, the person who built the computer talked to the computer once in terms of zeros and ones.
And it's just repeating what was talked to it.
Yeah. And now the computer understands you when you speak to it, because it has a built-in translator that translates it back to zeros and ones for it.
That's wild. I don't talk to... Wait, I guess I do. I'm talking to my computer right now. I fully was like, I've never spoken to my computer one day in my life. You guys are freaks. It was like, I'm truly doing it now.
we can market this as its own separate thing, you know, where we Nick and Jinkx explain the binary code.
Please, I would love it.
That
I
sounds
don't
like clickbait to
anything.
me.
It's the only binary we believe in. Am I right, Jinkx?
Ooh, that got me.
We destroyed all the other ones. So Fry and Leela, the whole crew, are really sick of Bender being an self-righteous religious asshole.
He is. I will say it's not good to make people become not sober anymore against their will. I will say that. But Bender is being very annoying.
Well, it's also in his programming that he's supposed to be drinking alcohol. So but that opens up a whole other conversation.
So he's programmed to drink alcohol?
Alcohol is how he fuels himself, but he replaces alcohol with mineral oil, which I guess is always an option, but but the less efficient option, I'm not sure. But everyone gets annoyed with him being an upright asshole, so they decide they're going to get Bender to relapse in Atlantic City. Which
is the place to do such things.
I think so. Well,
I had an ex from Atlantic City. Did you ever meet him, Nicole?
Yes. What's his name?
His name was Caleb. We don't like him anymore.
Yes, Caleb was very rude to me.
He sucks.
Yeah, he was so rude. He pushed me down the stairs. He joined a cult? That was after he pushed me.
It was also
in Atlantic City. Maybe he's in robot hell right now.
As soon as Bender relapses, he voids the warranty of his religious agreement and is taken down to robot hell. I love the song that the Robot Devil sings about robot hell, and we get a cameo appearance by the Beastie Boys. Hey, Bender, gonna make some noise with your hard drive scratched by the Beastie Boys. That's what you get on level 5.
That was very good, Mom.
Thank you.
It was very good.
I remember the commercial for this episode included that.
The Beastie Boys.
They wanted to show off that the Beastie Boys were on the episode, and that was the shortest clip they had to demonstrate that.
That's so wild that you remember. You remember commercials.
So there's weird things like, you know, the episode of The Simpsons where Homer goes to space?
No, I'm sorry. I've never seen an episode of The Simpsons.
That's okay. I would watch it every Sunday, and I would see the trailers for it all week, and some of the trailers for the new episodes stick in my head, and this is one of them.
If you ever need background noise, if you ever put on TV shows to binge while you're cooking or something simple that's not going to demand your attention, but you just want to hear some funny one-liners, seasons 1 through 10 of The Simpsons are pretty solid seasons. 1 through 8, I can highly recommend. And then about
it gets
9 and 10,
but still good.
And now we're at season 30,
37
34,
or something.
And it's an unrecognizable TV show. If you watch early Simpsons and Simpsons today, they don't even seem like the same species anymore. They've been it's a TV show that kind of created what we expect from adult animation, and then adult animation boomed, and then now they're trying to keep up with the market that they created. They don't know how.
They don't have anything to say anymore.
That's honestly super interesting. It's kind of like eating its own tail,
Ouroboros.
What I watch when I'm cooking and just want background noise is Queer as Folk. And let me tell you, this is the 4th time, 5th time, 6th time, and 100th time I'm rewatching it. It's very problematic.
It's really out of control.
Is this classic Queer as Folk or
this is the American one?
Queer as Folk. I was confusing it with Queer Eye. Queer as Folk, yes.
See, Queer Eye, I love the new one, but the old one truly has a place in my heart because I loved the homophobia, not in a way where it was so funny to hear a grown man be like, these queers are going to come to my house and do what? My hair? my hair, and they're going to make me look better. But and it was just what are you afraid of, sir? And then sit in that room and watch them tussle their hair with gel, and they're like, they did it right. And he's like, okay, how do I button a shirt? It was just so funny to me.
Oh, it's very good. I did watch a lot of Queer as Folk when it was like new, and when it was the American Queer as Folk, and I remember it was a huge point of contention between me and my mom because she would hear the porn scenes and just assume I was watching softcore porn, and I'm like, Mom, I'm watching myself be represented in mainstream television. It just happens to include a lot of porn. I'm sorry.
I do love season 1 of Queer as Folk, unironically, but it goes off the deep end so quick when he starts dating that violin boy, and that violin boy cannot play violin at all. He's just going like doop 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 doop.
Violin, so perfect segue to back to the episode. Fry and Leela come down to Robot Hell. They have the line, "Who would have known it was in New Jersey?" And Fry goes, "Well," and then they fall down the trap door. And the devil, the robot devil, tries to get them to sign a violin contest waiver, saying that they waive the right to try to win his soul back with a violin contest.
Because of the Fairness in Hell Act of 2275. Which is, of course, a parody of that song that I can't remember what it's called.
Oh, it is?
Yeah.
What's the song? Oh, you can't remember.
Devil Went Down to Georgia.
The plot device is a parody of that song. I thought you were saying the Fairness of Hell Act.
That's what I thought at first, but then
you know that song, Fairness of Hell.
It's an Ozzy Osbourne song. It's one of his more calm ones.
It's his easy listening era. I love that they say, the robot devil says, and you'll also win the solid gold violin. And Fry says, wouldn't a solid gold violin weigh a ton and sound terrible? Well, it's more of a decorative thing. But then the devil plays the solid gold violin and it sounds amazing. That's just one of those animations. I feel like they were like, let's not draw a second violin. Like that's gonna add like a week to the animation schedule. So he'll just have to play the gold violin and we'll hope our audience is too stupid to think about that.
I like when Leela says, what happens if we lose? And the robot devil says, you'll only win a smaller silver fiddle. And I suppose I'll kill one of you, say him. And points at Fry.
Do it. And then
I like that there's a consolation prize. Like we're not rude.
And then she has the great line, Leela, do you know how to play violin? No, but I played drums for a while. I'm sure I can figure it out.
The two most opposite instruments.
They end up cheating. They knock him over the head with the violin. They're getting out of there. Bender's flying him out on a pair of
I looked away for
wings.
a second and he had robot wings. How did he get the robot wings?
He took down one of the Sentinel robots that was trying to keep him in robot hell. He pulled off his wings, attached him to his back somehow, and now they just work for him.
Again, you have to suspend your disbelief.
These heavy metal wings can somehow fly.
And they're moving very slowly.
And then, can't you go any faster? We could if you dropped the damn gold violin. So they escape, and the moral of the story is sobriety sucks. Don't do drugs, but also sobriety sucks, which I can kind of get behind because, as we were talking about earlier, I don't think complete abstinence is the way to live a charmed, blessed life. You gotta know when to fold them, know when to hold them. How does that song end?
I'm a toker. I'm a joker.
Is that really how it ends?
I'm a Cadillac smoker.
What song is this? I don't even know.
So, Nicole, we always like to ask, first, do you think you would watch more Futurama? Do you think this is a show you could get into?
Okay. I know that both of you really enjoy it.
So please speak candidly, speak freely.
It was truly delightful to watch people who enjoy something, just like really talk about it and get into it and remember every single detail. But I gotta say, as much of a treat it was, I don't think I will continue on the journey. But I do appreciate the opportunity to see the singular episode.
Well, I love that about you, your open-mindedness, your willingness to try. We've been listening to your Lord of the Rings podcast at my house.
Oh my God, I love newcomers.
Thank you. Lord of the Rings has been really upsetting.
I know. I feel bad for you. I love Star Wars, but I don't like Lord of the Rings.
Well, I just wish we explored the fantasy genre. Maybe watched an episode of Game of Thrones as opposed to the same story over and over and over again. But Star Wars was fun. I think Star Wars pokes more fun at itself.
And there's more different interpretations of it. Because even when it's when you did the BBC radio drama, it was half the same actors. So it wasn't even that different.
It's truly just the same people over and over and over again being like, we love to frolic in the woods.
There's a part in the second movie where Legolas walks into the woods and he just goes, "This forest is old." And I was like, I'm done with this movie. I don't want to watch this anymore.
This forest is old.
That's funny. I didn't catch that.
I recently watched all of Lord of the Rings as a favor to my best friend. And I think my most of my enjoyment was seeing all these actors I know from different things now, 10 years ago in this van. It's like Aunt Zelda killed from Sabrina, taking down some Lich King, and I really loved that. I really love Elijah Wood just barefoot the whole movie. That checks a lot of my boxes.
The only thing I really liked in Lord of the Rings is when, I think his name is Sauron, when he spins Gandhi around and shoots him to space. I don't know if I've laughed harder because I was like, this is a different tone than the rest of the movie. This is silly.
It's really kind of, I found it difficult to watch those old men fight.
Yeah.
I felt bad for the actors. I worried about their safety.
You're gonna hurt him.
We also always ask, who of the characters in Futurama do you most relate to, and who would you most want to bang or have a romantic relationship with? You can specify whether it would be a long-term fulfilling relationship or you just want to pound it out once.
I like the Cyclops lady. I think I'd pound it out with her once, but then fall in love after I thought about it more and then beg her to be with me forever.
Leela she's a formidable character. Oh, and I forgot to say, she sings in this episode for the first time ever. And
she does.
Okay, well, whatever you were going to say, I always point this out, but Katie Seagal, who voices Leela, who was also Peg Bundy on Married with Children, one of her first big time jobs was backup singing for Bette Midler. So Katie Seagal is actually on some of Bette Midler's early albums because Bette Midler has traditionally, when she performs live, she has a backup of three doo-wop girls who support her in her live shows. And Katie Seagal was among the first of Bette Midler's backup singers.
What a fun little fact. What a treat. I like that.
Do you have a character you relate to in the show?
No, not really. I'm trying to think. I mean, what's the robot's name who likes the drugs?
Bender.
Maybe Bender. Because I like things. I like indulging myself maybe more than I should. So yeah.
Bender, I feel like Bender, he's one of those characters that the show wouldn't be the same without him. And I like the character. Can't stand the straight frat boy bros that I know are obsessed with him.
Well, it's like when a straight guy likes Wolf of Wall Street. I'm like, I like Wolf of Wall Street, but I don't like that you like Wolf of Wall Street because I don't think you like it for the right reasons.
Yep, I fully agree with you there because I think Wolf of Wall Street is a great movie, but whenever I talk to straight men about it, we have different reasons as to why we think it's a great movie.
Yeah.
You're just like, oh boy, you just really saw that as a movie where you're like, yeah, I could screw people over too and make money.
They had so many
Leo did
bitches
it.
on their plane.
Well, I want to thank you so much for being a guest on our podcast. You have ample opportunity now to plug anything you're working on.
We're pretty deep in the pandemic and I do have something coming out. Wait, I don't know if I can say the date. Well, look for Wipeout. That's been announced. I'm hosting that with John Cena.
Oh, cool.
That will be coming to, I believe, TBS. Not I believe. It's coming to TBS 2021. And look for something else on Netflix that will be coming out. I can't say.
Little mystery. We'll see.
How dumb that people are like, don't say things. And then it's like, what do you mean don't say it? You're just going to announce it 2 weeks after I wanted to say it on a podcast.
Well, and really our listeners could just watch anything from the last 5 years. I'm sure you'll be there somewhere. Nailed It is an amazing television show.
Yes,
Another
that's
show
on
that
Netflix. Watch it. Every stream
it's so
counts.
nice to have sometimes shows that just aren't about heavy social issues. And a reality show that's a competition but joyful. Those are always fun. Not to say that I don't love Chopped and the dramatics that occur there.
Have you watched Kids Baking? I think it's called Kids Baking Competition or something. It's on the Food Network and it's
Are they
funny.
British kids?
No, they're American kids. And with COVID, they have their parents there now. So they film their parents being like, no, not the blueberries. And then after they get eliminated, they have to walk outside to the other building where their parents are. And that's a time for them to cry. And then the camera films that. Just this poor kid's heartbreak is just being broadcast to the world. I recommend it. It's a wild show to watch. It's
the Top Chef Children is also amazing. It's a very interesting thing watching kids compete on reality TV because on one hand they're catering the show to be sensitive to the needs of the children and the feelings of the children, and they oftentimes have prizes for everybody, some sort of pat on the back. But it's still reality TV where it's going to go out into the world and be chewed up by the audience. And I'm like, that kid's 5.
People a lot of the time are like, what are they going to do? A Kids Nailed It. I'm like, I don't know, but I will not host it. I will not look a child in the face and be like, that looks bad, right? And then have that kid look at me and be like, but I tried my hardest. And it's just, I don't think it translates to kids because adults make what you think a kid would make. A kid making what a kid makes. Where's the? I don't know. Whatever. People keep asking, and I couldn't do it. Yeah, because then it really is just pointing and laughing at children, which I feel really good about doing to adults. But to adults, you're fine. You can afford therapy. And as a host, you make it fun for them when they do terrible. I really got to say, as a host. And I really relate to you with your relationship with Wesley. I think I've said that to you before. If I had an adult Simba running around my set, that would be the only thing I would be concentrating on. He's truly the best. I'm like the little sister he never asked for. It's just one day I was like, hello, I'm here to annoy you. Well, it was an absolute treat having you on our finale episode of season 1.
Yeah, why don't you do the outro? Can you put just a little more effort into it though? Because I want to end the season on a good note.
Okay. Wow, Nick. So you've just listened to season 1 of I'm 40. You know what, Nick?
I had something in my throat. I've
tried my best to be tolerant of your behavior this entire season because, I need you to edit the episodes. But there has to be
a lot of pressure.
I'm not asking you to kiss the jewels here. I'm not asking you to pay me any reverence, but a little like common decency would be appreciated.
I'm just going to say it. I don't owe you a fucking thing.
Oh my goodness.
And for that, I think you need to be taught a lesson, mister.
Oh, what are you going to do?
It's not what I'm going to do. I know that you and Nicole both live in LA, so I've already arranged with Nicole. She's actually been filming.
Yeah, I'm recording
her part
in an Uber.
phone.
Yeah, I was wondering why you were in a car.
In an Uber. Because I'm coming to your house to beat you the fuck up.
What the fuck? Oh no.
You hear your doorbell?
I didn't even know I had one.
Well, I just rang someone's doorbell, and if you didn't hear it, I might be at the wrong house.
Uh-oh, I hear you in the
you're
hallway.
at the right house.
Now I think I'm at the right house.
There it is.
I'll
Did you hear that knock in the background?
Did you hear that?
Yes,
Nicole
I definitely heard that.
Nicole and I have conspired against you, Nick, and I've taken some lessons from the show. And I think maybe you'd appreciate me a little bit more if you spent some time in a cryogenic freezing chamber. So just remember.
Wait, what? Like 1,000 years?
You brought this on yourself.
Yeah. Doof. I knocked your door down. Hi,
oh no,
Nick.
that's my favorite door. Hi, Nicole.
Hi,
Thank you
Nick.
for wearing a mask.
Oh, no problem. You know, this pandemic is pretty serious, and I just want to take every precaution necessary. Yeah, I gotta freeze you now.
Oh no, I'm falling in the tube.
Yeah, see you later.
So thank you all for listening, and don't forget to subscribe to my Patreon if you'd like to hear these episodes fresh off the presses. Otherwise, we'll see you wherever you listen to your podcasts. Thank you so much for this integral role you played today, Nicole.
No problem. Honestly, I've never stuffed a man down a tubey thing to get frozen, and that's nice.
I feel like you have done that before, but I'm not going to pry. Have a good rest of your day. I love you all. You're very special. Good night.